Well, it's time for another lesson in history with our good friend Charles McElwee, who is the Vice President of the Board of Directors for the Greater Hazleton Historical Society and Museum. We all drive around town, and whether it's in the city of Hazleton or anywhere, you see all the street names and that. We take them for granted a lot of the time, but we don't know the history of sometimes you'll think, how did that street get that name? So that's what you wanted to touch on a little bit today, some of the street names here in the city.
Yes, interesting findings, and really with the city of Hazleton, it's an interesting city grid because there are so many streets. I mean, there are more streets in Hazleton than there are in Wilkes-Barre, and Wilkes-Barre's larger. It's just there are small blocks because when the city was built, everybody wanted the corner property, so as a result, an average block is about 3 or 4 homes. But yes, we have streets named after presidents, after trees, but then we have other streets that raise questions. What's Alter named after? What's Mungee named after? Well, it turns out it goes back to the Diamond Land Coal Company, which goes back to 1841. But in the late 1890s, Reginald Alter was a treasurer, and they were building this addition between Diamond Avenue and 22nd Street, 600 new properties, new streets, and the Diamond Land Coal Company named the streets, if they weren't numbered, but the non-numbered streets were named after officers in the company, whether it was Mungee or Reginald Alter. And I must say I learned interesting facts about Reginald Alter. So Alter was treasurer of the coal company. He was also a criminal. He stole $5,600 from the company, which was tied into Pardee and his operations, and the company itself was headquartered in Philadelphia. But Reginald Alter appropriated $5,600 for his family, and he got caught. So he was convicted of embezzling $5,600, and what's interesting is just you don't realize the story behind the name. The average, when somebody sees Alter, you associate it with a church, but the reality was, no, this is a guy who not only was very involved in Hazleton, but he got himself in trouble. So it's, always dig in to find out what streets are named after because you never know.
That's really interesting. I did not know that at all. Now, Mungee Street, everybody's familiar with that who's from the Hazleton area. You know Mungee Street.
Right. Yeah, Mungee was an upstanding citizen. But again, when you hear Mungee, it almost sounds Italian, but it wasn't. It was, he was another, his first name escapes me, but Mungee was another officer in the Diamond Land Coal Company. But he was a good guy, and no problems there. But, and look, I mean, this is information you could find on newspapers.com, just a simple Google search. But there's just, every street tells a story, and streets often shape the destiny of a neighborhood and the history behind it. So I was rather intrigued when I came across this story behind Reginald Alter.
Very interesting. I don't think there were too many people out there that knew that. And you have a lot of signs, various signs, and a lot of history down at the museum. So you want to make a plug for people to come on down and take a tour and see what it's all about.
Absolutely. Contact us via hazletonhistory.org. Schedule an appointment. We'll be happy to give a tour. And yes, we have tons of street signs or store signs because all these neighborhoods had commercial centers too, including Alter Street. So we have signs from throughout the city that are worth taking a look at.
And it's a great thing, too, for the kids to learn about the history, for a school trip to come down and take a tour through there as well.
Yes, 3 floors, largest collection northeastern Pennsylvania. It's well worth a trip.
All righty. Always great information from this guy, and always a lot of great information at the Greater Hazleton Historical Society and Museum. We hope you'll check them out soon.